Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Fergozo. I am the Chair of Finance.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chandler Munasinghe, and I am the Assistant Chair of Finance.
And we're going to be doing a quick walkthrough of the annual budget, what you expect to see, and how to fill out the forms. It's the AS Finance 101.
So here's a little overview of what we'll be discussing today in this video. It will be what is fundable and not fundable by AS. We will be discussing the new changes to the Code on Finance, particularly viewpoint neutrality and how this affects clubs and organizations. We'll be discussing how to go through the application form and how to fill it out and what is required when filling it out. And we will be also going through the application form for scheduling your annual budget hearing date. And then we will also have a timeline of when all of these things will be due and the different series of events that will follow. And we will also be going through at the end frequently asked questions that we normally get from club and organization leaders. And also we will provide our contact information if you have any questions to get in touch with us, please.
So what are the fundable items? Currently, our Code on Finance states that we fund leadership development conferences and activities, and that is open to up to 3 members of your club. These are conferences that you can attend to better the quality that you provide as a leader and to further help your club succeed on campus. Speakers, performance programs, and speaker-related fees are open for the events that are just for your club members. That is a maximum of $50 per professional. And then social media advertising and professional costs you can use if you want to advertise something on any social media platforms, request flyers. That is a maximum of $200. And then the use of facilities on campus. That will depend on the size of the salon that you request for your events. And then events where the primary audience is open are CSUN students, and that is for, again, events that are open to all CSUN students. Anybody can come in and attend your event. And then reusable marketing, that includes banners, flyers, canopies, tablecloths, anything that is not dated and can be used for future events. Due to the virtual environment, we are still funding Canva Pro, and that is the membership of $150. $120. And then the mandatory bookstore gift cards, a maximum of $300, and that is for the full academic year of fall 2022, spring 2023. We would like for clubs and organizations to use this to further incentivize members to be engaged as they transition over to, again, this in-person environment.
So some non-fundable items are disc jockeys or any outside event producers, for-profit activities, decorations. Again, this is because if they are of one-time use, we are trying to be sustainable here on campus. Any plaques, certificates, or other awards that might be only limited to your club or organization. If they are not only limited to your club or organization, then they are by a case-by-case basis. Any t-shirt or apparel, and this includes items of personal nature. Any food, unless it is essential to the nature of the program. Newsletters, personal business cards, or one-time use banners. Again, this is to be sustainable on campus. And any payments for students, faculty, or staff outside of associated students. So one of the changes we have to the Code on Finance is viewpoint neutrality. And the changes, viewpoint neutrality basically is at times student organizations may seek funding for programs and events that involve expressive activities, including but not limited to speeches, expression of ideas, or viewpoints on issues of public concern. Associated students' funding decisions will not be based on a student organization's point of view. An organization will not be denied funding simply because its program or event involves expressive speech or because it advocates a particular opinion, no matter how deplorable or unusual. The viewpoint neutral process will allow us to fund clubs and organizations in a more equitable manner for all.
And now we will do a walkthrough of the application. Hold on while I set this up for you. Okay, so if you do not have the AS Finance website already saved, you can do that by just Googling, you can access it by Googling AS CSUN Finance. It will directly take you to this link. And now I'll hand it over to Chandler.
So once you're on this web page here, you can scroll down to where you see annual budget, and you can go ahead and click that link right there. And you'll be taken to the annual budget page where you can scroll down and see requesting your annual budget hearing online. You will go ahead and click that link and you'll be prompted to open up the annual budget hearing application form.
Just give us a second while that loads.
So this is what the loaded page will look like. And you can go ahead and read through the information. It will basically be when the application is due, when the actual committee hearing dates will be. And once you've read through all that information, you can go ahead and click the box at the bottom and then hit next page. And we already have one filled out for you to save time. So as you can see, you're going to need your club organization name, a description of your club or organization, the president or primary officer's name, and also their email address. And please make sure this is a CSUN email address, which is a my.csun.edu email address, their phone number, an alternative contact person name, and also alternative contact person email, which should be a csun.edu email, and an alternative person contact number. And please make sure one of these people that you're listing, either the primary officer or alternative contact, will be involved in the club organization next semester. And then you will also need your advisor's name and email. And these emails have to be csun.edu emails only. And please make sure that your advisor is aware of this, because they will be receiving emails and they will need to respond to these emails in order for you to be able to apply for an annual budget. Then you will also need to fill out information of how many members you have in the organization, how many years your organization has been here on campus at CSUN, and how much are your membership fees for the semester. And are you a performing or traveling club? Apply whatever is applicable to you, and you can go ahead and click next page. And then here you'll be prompted to describe your request on what you actually need money for. So you can go ahead and describe whatever you need: funding for room rentals, guest speakers, marketing, and you will be discussing why you need funding for these items. And then you will list the priority of these items below. And then please make sure to whatever items you list here, you'll be going into detail on the next page. So then you can go ahead and be prompted to the next page. And for example, here you have item number 1, which we had as room rentals, and you'll be giving a description. So in this description, we wrote we have 80 people who will be meeting. So we will need a room to accommodate these 80 people. And the USU room rentals roughly charge $30 per session for these rentals. So if we'll be meeting 30 times throughout the year at $30 per meeting, that will be a total cost of $900. And the AS portion we will like is $900. See here, the more specific you get and the more specific on details, the easier it is for us to just come up with to see how you got to this number. And then next up, we have guest speakers, which we will be having 2 guest speakers coming in throughout the year. So, and since they will be open to all CSUN students, we can be allocated a maximum cost of $400 per guest speaker. So since we'll be having 2, that's how we got the total cost of $800. And then the last item we have here is flyers, and we will be printing out these flyers at a cost of roughly 20 cents per flyer. And if we have 500 printed, that will become a total cost of $100. And please keep in mind when filling out this request, this is funding for the whole year, academic year from 2022 to 2023, not just a semester. So please keep that in mind. And then you can go ahead and make sure that the total cost line up here and the total cost of AS sought portion lines up, and you can go ahead and click next. And then here again, you'll just check the box whether yes or no, confirming that the figures match, and then yes or no that the AS figures match as well. And then you will also be prompted to fill out whether you will be receiving funding from other sources. If you have club member dues or anything like that, you can go ahead and type that in, and then what your intended use of those dues are. For example, here we have that we will be having shirts for our club, so that's why we have direct apparel and what the cost will be for that club. So that information is all specific to your club. Whatever you find applicable to your club, please fill out in that section, and then you can go ahead and submit that form. And once submitted, you will receive a confirmation email saying that your annual budget application form has been submitted. And then once you've done that, you can go back to the annual budget website, and you will be prompted to click the next link, which is schedule your annual budget hearing time. And once you've clicked that, you'll be prompted to opening a form where you can type in your club organization's name, the contact person's name and email. Please remember again, CSUN emails, and then you can select a time frame that works for you, whichever one you feel comfortable coming into, or whichever one fits your schedule best. Please select that time and hit submit, and you'll receive a confirmation for that time slot as well to come and present. And these presentations will go in 15-minute intervals. And please do not have a PowerPoint when you come in. Just be prompted to explain your request on the items you needed funding for, and we will go ahead and ask you any questions we feel necessary.
Yes, we will have a PowerPoint ready for your request, so no need to bring one in. And then just let me stop sharing this slide so we can continue with our PowerPoint. Allow me to pull that up once again. And then please excuse the technicalities. All right, our timeline. So we are currently here. The applications are open and available to all club and organizations through our AS Finance website. The next date will be December 6th, which is when the application closes, and that is at 11:59 on December 6th. So make sure to submit it by then or before. And then the annual budget hearings with the Finance Committee do start on January 13th and carry out to the 14th. There is a gap, so the 19th and then the 20th. And that concludes the annual budget hearings. We move on to the annual budget deliberations by the Finance Committee, and those are held by the end of January to March. And then after that, the AS President and Vice President receive and review the annual budget proposal before the submission to Senate on March 2022, and those dates specifically vary depending on how long it takes them to review. And then AS Senate receives and reviews the proposed budget before the submission to the university president, and the dates around March to April. And then around April, the university president receives and reviews the proposed budget before it is approved. They have about 10 days to review it and add any amendments should they see are needed. And once it is approved, all clubs and organizations have access to their funding in July of 2022. That completes the annual budget timeline. And then should you feel that the outcome of the decision for of your allocated amount for the annual budget, if you disagree with it, you have the opportunity to appeal to that. University officials will review the contested decision, either to deny or restrict the funding and to review the allocated amount. You can access that also through our AS website. It is right below the annual budget link. And then we do have some frequently asked questions. This PowerPoint will be available to you on the AS Finance website, along with the links. Everything is there for you to access. And then what if we want to do a different event during the semester? Well, this is where supplemental funding comes into place. If you have an event that you decided that you realize that you need more funding for, or you decide to host that wasn't included in the actual original annual budget, you can request funding for that through the supplemental request. And then, do you only fund student groups or organizations? We only fund the clubs and organizations that are recognized by CSUN. You do have to be a registered club in order to apply for the annual budget.
And then do you need an authorized signature form? So we have a lot of forms that need to be turned in. For example, one is the authorized signature form, and the authorized signature form is important because this needs to be turned to Associated Students Accounting Office, and this needs to be updated in order for your club or organization to receive the money they were allocated during the annual budget. And these forms can all be found online on the AS website. We can show you right now.
Let me stop sharing.
And the authorized signature form does consist of who your primary president is, who your treasurer is, and who your academic advisor is. And it needs to have all three signatures and names on the form.
So here is where you can find our annual budget site. You click on funding, you scroll down, and then view AS Finance forms. And then for the purpose of the annual budget, we will only focus on the transfer, change purpose, supplemental, and the authorized signature form. They're also all found here. For the transfer request, this is should you have any previously allocated funds that you want to transfer them over to a different event. Let's say you have, I don't know, an extra $400 in speaker fees, but you realize that instead of hosting big events that are open to all CSUN students, you just want to have technical meetings that are open only to your club. You can request to transfer those funds between accounts. And then change of purpose is for when you have an event that you were initially going to host for a specific thing. I don't know, you want to have a workshop and you decide that that workshop no longer is relevant to your club or it's no longer possible and you want to change that event. That is where the change of purpose request form comes in. And the supplemental, as I was mentioning earlier, it is for when your club realizes that you have unexpected expenses. You fill out this request form and then it's reviewed by the committee if the amount is over $600, and that applies to all of these forms. If it is below $600, it goes directly to the chair of finance for review.
And the last form, as mentioned before, is the authorized signature form, where you will need that information all filled out on that form and turned into the accounting office in order to access your funds for the 2022-2023 fiscal year.
Let me stop sharing, go back to our PowerPoint. We do have our contact information that we want to show you.
And lastly, sorry for the technical difficulties again, but here is our contact info. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Nicole or myself. The best way to get a hold of us is through email. And we usually reply to those emails very promptly and quickly. But if you have any quick questions you need an answer to, you can go ahead and call the AS leadership line, which is found in the top right-hand corner, 818-677-2477. And you can go ahead and call that line and ask any questions you might have. But the best way, again, to get a hold of us is through email. And we hope this video is informative for all of you that are watching it. And we hope that we see you in the annual budget request soon.
Yes, and make sure to contact us if you have any questions. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.